Hi, I'm Raiyan Chowdhury. I am the founder and creative director of an online tailoring shop, Tapered. I also happen to have my own podcast, which I'm the host of, called The Other Side with Raiyan Chowdhury, produced by Cablgram. And furthermore, I'm also the CEO of a youth organization named Oracle Youth Community. I feel like it started way back when my mom used to take me out to clothing stores, and she'd make me like fotuas out of any fabric that she could find which looked good. She didn't care about what those fabrics were used for in other ways. All she cared about that it was comfortable, and all she cared about was that I looked good. So I think that instilled in me this sense of wanting to make my own clothes. So that was back when I was like 10, 11, even 9 years old. So you fast forward from that till about 2018, 2017, where a cousin of mine wanted to start this clothing line. And he told me, Jay, bhai, I'm going to this market. Do you want to come with me? I could use some guidance. So I was like, sure. So we went to that market. We saw like a few jackets that we thought looked really good. And he didn't really have enough money to purchase the minimum quantity amount that you have to purchase. So I was like, all right, Meraz, let's do one thing. I put in half the money, you put in half the money. And let's just buy all this, and then I take profit from my side, you take profit from your side. So that's how this other clothing brand started, which was called Essentials Limited. So that started, and we sort of sold out of all the products we have, but we were just reselling things that other people made, right? We were reselling Adidas jackets, Nike jackets, stuff like that. So there was this itch inside me that always pushed me to do something that I designed, that I made, and I showed to the world, right? So then I thought back about the tailoring days with my mom, how I used to go to tailoring shops, I used to go make suits with my dad, and I figured that, okay, there isn't really any online tailoring shop, There isn't really a service that you can just sit at home and get those custom pieces or get those perfectly fitted, just made for you things delivered to your doorsteps. So in 2018, I started thinking of this idea of an online tailoring shop. But what happens usually with people who start their ventures is that they get clouded with the thoughts of obstacles. I started to think about how hard it's going to be. I started to think about all the things that I don't have the capital for, or didn't have the capital for back then. So I put off that idea, but about 6 to 8 months later, I was talking to a friend at night, and I was telling her how I really want to start something, but I don't really know what. But then it hit me that I had this idea about an online tailoring shop, and every idea is going to have some things that before starting, we think that, okay, we can't get past this, but we just have to start. And I knew that I had to start it that day, that night. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on procrastinating. So that's when I decided to think of names. That's when I started to think of logos. And so that night I started making the logos. I started thinking of names, and I thought of 3 to 4 names before Tapered, and they were also good. They were also for contention. But as soon as that name, that Tapered, hit my mind, I realized that, okay, it just feels right. This feels like the name I should go for. And that's when I started work. I designed 3 to 4 logos myself, decided on the logo, made that email, made the Instagram account, and I did it before going to bed that night, because I knew that if I went to sleep, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to delay another 6 or 8 months to start it. So that's basically how Tapered was born. So Tapered is a cool tailoring shop for the youth. At the end of the day, clothing we wear is an extension of expression. It is something that we can wear and people can get an idea of what type of people we are. And we just wanted to create this place where people can come and they can feel safe and comfortable about sharing their ideas of how they want to present themselves to the world. And we believe that we are one of the few tailoring places where people can come, they can give an idea, and without judgment, we will actually discuss with them how to make that idea better, how to turn their vision into reality. the first collection of Tapered was 3 designs of pants and 1 shirt, which might seem a little unusual at first because people usually come up with more shirts. But my concept, my idea was that 60% of your outfit consists of the pants. Yet if you look at most men or women in Bangladesh, they usually wear 1 black pant or 1 jeans, and they pair that with different types of shirt. So if you actually think about it, the outfit doesn't really seem different unless the pant is as different as well. So that's why we came out with more pants than shirts, and the designs of the pants were a little different as well. So 3 pants had 3 designs. 1 was made in a Gurkha style, 1 had adjusters on the side, and 1 had a slit front in the middle. So the thing with that is that even if you go to any of the well-known tailors of Bangladesh, I don't think they can make it to you, or I don't think that they will want to make it for you, because these designs are a bit tricky. But like I said, that pants are very important, so we wanted to make different design pants for people in Bangladesh. We've had 4 collections so far. The first, I talked about the pants that we had and the shirt. In the second collection, we really wanted to do something that is a fusion between Western fashion with the Bengali culture. So that was our heritage collection, which featured katan shorts. It featured a formal shirt with a lace on the side, and it featured some other katan stuff as well. We really wanted to highlight the katan fabric, as it is a fabric of our country. It is only used for like 1 or 2 things. It is used for making salwar kameezes, or it's used for making sharis, but it has the potential to be turned into so much more, and we wanted to showcase that. For winter, we did safari jackets. In Bangladesh, we mostly see people just wearing hoodies or just wearing like Adidas tracksuits, and while there's nothing wrong with that, we wanted to add something that is a little bit different, that is a little bit not usually seen on the streets of Dhaka. So we brought in our safari jacket, and that sold out within a month. For the next collection, we collaborated with this vintage clothing shop, which is Pop Tags, and we turned vintage pieces of fabric into new modern designs. So for example, we bought a lot of bandanas, we cut them up into about 500 pieces, and we stitched those bandanas up into a fabric and turned that into a shirt. So what happens then is that one part of the fabric may be from Singapore and 3 years old, while another part of the fabric is from China and is 10 years old. And what happens is that each and every shirt is therefore a 1 of 1. So if you bought that shirt, if you were one of the few people who were lucky to purchase it before it sold out, you have a 1 of 1 item that no one else in this world owns. Secondly, we have the last collection that we came out just a few months ago, which was our street sartorial collection. What that is a blending of street style into sort of fine tailoring. So imagine in Bangladesh, you like wearing a lot of t-shirts, but you like the aesthetic of a shirt rather than a t-shirt. So we used a fabric that is used for polo t-shirts, and we turned that into a shirt. Say for example, you like the fabric that is denim, but you don't like wearing jeans. So we turned denim into a pant that has the designs of a formal pant, like adjusters on the sides, stuff like that. We also turned, we took lace that you usually find at the end of a pant of a salwar kameez, and we put it on a suiting pant. So that gives it a casual street style look, as well as sort of that blend with formal style. So we're always looking to fuse 2 inspirations into one to make the things a little different. So a lot of people ask me why I'm studying civil engineering, but I'm a designer by heart. And the truth is, even though they might seem very different at first glance, if you actually think about it, they both involve a lot of construction and a lot of mathematics as its core. While civil engineering may be the construction of buildings, bridges, museums, tailoring is at the end of the day construction of fabrics into different items as well, right? Like suits, like pants, like shirts. There's a lot of mathematics involved, and there's a lot of proportions involved. Just like we have to know the proportions of a pillar, we also have to know the proportions of the human body for the tailoring. So at the end of the day, they're both a blend of design and proportion and mathematics coming together. So the most orders we get are from commissioned works. So people come to us, they tell us if we can make this, if we can make that, if we can make this out of this. And that's honestly one of the best parts of my job, because even though they may not order, I talk to them as if they will order, and I try to give my 2 cents on those designs as well. So people actually have a place to express themselves, to tell their ideas and see if we can turn it into reality. Say, for example, this one guy once knocked us and he wanted a reversible jacket. But the catch was that he wanted one part to be made out of velvet and another part to be made out of katan. So I'm sure if you can guess that if you go to a traditional tailoring shop, they won't even want to take that order because it seems so complex or it seems so out of the ordinary. But we were more than happy to not only do that order, we actually gave him a discount for coming up with such a brilliant idea, because we wanted to see how his idea would translate to reality. And that is the type of place what Tapered is. We have made suit vests that have mountains embroidered on the back. We've made dinner jackets that have flowers completely embroidered throughout the body. We've made shorts that was made out of things that were see-through, or even pants that were made out of things that are see-through. And we want to be a place that is a no judgment place. We want to be a place where people can actually tell us their crazy ideas, and we will actually try to improve upon those ideas instead of frowning upon them. So yeah. Just like any other business, we faced our fair share of troubles. I remember back when I didn't really know where to make the bags from, where to make the tags from, where to get the cheapest but best quality fabrics from. I had to go around and ask a lot of people. The only thing I knew was that Puran Dhaka jao, Puran Dhaka shop kichu paba. So I took a rickshaw, I went to Puran Dhaka without any direction, without any vision. I just started to ask everyone I could find on the streets, je, bhai janen bag koi banay, bhai janen tag koi banay, bhai janen erokom adjuster jinishta kothay pawa jabe. And I wasn't really expecting an answer from all of them, but as I kept on asking people, I kept on finding my way through this concrete jungle, right? And I eventually got all the collections I need. I eventually got all the people that were needed to make the things, and now I've developed a good relationship with all of them. And whenever someone knocks me for help, I'm more than happy to help, because I know the struggles that one's face when they don't really know about the industry that much. I'll share a small story about this one day. It was a very hectic day. So I had an event, and because of that event, I was in Uttara. And on the other hand, I was making about 100 shirts, 50 for one company, 50 for another company. And they were both red t-shirts with different prints. So 50 with one print and 50 with another print. So I told the people to make it, they understood, and I went to my event, and then I got it delivered to a friend's house who was gonna deliver it to the person who ordered it. And what happened was that she found out that all the red t-shirts, they had just one print. They didn't give two prints on 50 on this, 50 on that. So what I had to do, I had to send the t-shirts back. I had to make them print it within 3 to 4 hours. My driver waited in that place. He came with the t-shirts to Uttara to pick me up, and at 11:30 p.m. at night, even though I was at an MUN, I was wearing a full 3-piece suit, I had to take that bag of t-shirts and go to the person who ordered it, that delivery location, to deliver it, just because they needed it the next day. So it's just a small story. I have hundreds of these stories that I can talk about all day, but at the end of the day, these are the stories that make you, these are the stories that teach you the most about the business that you're in. So I don't think it's a bad thing to struggle. I think struggle moves you forward. So you should actually seek struggle, not hide from it. So, yeah. Nowadays, people who start an online clothing brand or an online business, they do it to earn some quick money. They don't really have a grand vision for it. And while there's nothing wrong with that, with Tapered, we do have a vision of the next 5 years, next 10 years of where we want to be. So one of the things we struggle with is that customers come and they want to feel the fabric, but because we're an online tailoring shop, they don't really have any way to come and feel the fabric before we actually make it and send it to them. So I do want to start a flagship store, maybe somewhere in the upper end of Gulshan, Banani, somewhere like that, where people can come, they can actually see our designs, they can actually feel the quality that we offer. And while they will come and we will be taking orders from that flagship store, we do want to expand our digital reach as well, because the future after all is digital. So we want a website where we'll have all the SKUs, all the fabrics, all the options for designs, so as to more automate the process, so that it's a bit more automated, so that it's a bit more technical. So in the next 5 years, my plan is to open a flagship store and to open a website to facilitate the service that we're giving, which is of tailoring the clothes. You see, a lot of people who start online brands or online clothing pages, they do it because it's in right now, it's trendy. They don't necessarily have a long-term plan. And while there's nothing wrong with that, here at Tapered, we do have a vision of where we want to be in 5 years, in 10 years. I see myself being 50 and still dressed this good and going to check up on the work that my tailors are doing. So our plan for the next 5 years is to open a store, a flagship store, where people can see, where people can come, they can see the quality of the fabric, they can see the stitching, the finishing, and then they will be even more convinced of our quality and of our service. So we want a store like that in Savile Row, which they have in England. Moving forward, we want to incorporate digitalization. We want to further streamline the process and scale up the business as much as we can. We want to open this flagship store, but on the other hand, we are also working on a brand new website where people can go, they can check out the fabric, they can check out the designs, and that will be completely integrated with our flagship store once that comes out, so that it's much easier for the end customer to turn their thinking, to turn their designs into reality. And that's what we're working on now for a much more bigger future for Tapered. When I was looking for future advice myself, I was like in the internet, on YouTube, like looking for motivational speeches, looking for advice from people who've actually made it. And I stumbled across, even after watching like 100 videos, I stumbled across this one video that really stuck to me. So it was a video of Elon Musk in a university where he was asked the same question, that what advice would you give to new entrepreneurs? And he just laughed and he said, if you need advice from some guy on the internet to start your business, that is probably an indication that you shouldn't start it. And that really motivated me that, you know what, the motivation, the drive to actually start your thing should come from within you. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be your baby. It's going to be the thing that you do. It's not going to be someone else's. No one's going to help you to run this business. So the motivation, the passion, it has to come from you if you want to start something. You have to be ready to do the grunt work. You can't be like, oh, আমি এটা করব না, আমি তো CEO, আমি যে কেন ঝাড়ু দিব, ও আমি যে এই জিনিসটা clean up করব না. But at the end of the day, it's your baby. You have to do the grunt work in order to enjoy the fruits of your labor. I'm also the host of a podcast known as The Other Side with Raiyan Chowdhury, which as of season 2 will be produced by the news media outlet Cablgram. So I started the podcast when I was bored in quarantine. We didn't have anything to do, and I sort of wanted to talk to a lot of different people. I wanted to know their stories, and what I realized was that while there are a lot of interviews of, say, Shakib Al Hasan, Tamim Iqbal, people like that, there aren't many interviews or there aren't many stories of people who we know, who we sort of look up to, like Instagram influencers, like new up-and-coming actors, like people who are doing to actually change things from the ground up, like people who founded new NGOs, stuff like that. So that's why I started the podcast with a mic that cost me like $120 from Daraz. I started with that, didn't have any lighting equipment, didn't really have any idea, but I sort of learned everything myself. So I did the research, I invited the guest, I learned how to do Photoshop just so that I can edit the post to make it look professional. And then I started talking to people, and I talked to people from a lot of different backgrounds. I've talked to singers, I've talked to dancers, influencers, content creators, people who have their own business, people who've started NGOs, you name it. And what I've realized is that while they're telling me about their life, I can almost have a glance into the window that is of being a content creator, that is of being a photographer, that is of being an IT guy. And that sort of made me realize that I really love doing it. I really love knowing stories of people. And that's how the podcast came to be. Alhamdulillah, after 1 year, we're done with season 1. We're now going to launch season 2 in a few days, and the hype is real, and we're really looking forward to seeing the reception of season 2 and the later episodes. Thank you, Raiyan Chamak, for inviting me to talk about my initiatives. It was wonderful to be here. And to the viewers, do like, share, and subscribe.